Hey Webelos! Today we're going to talk about your stronger, faster, higher requirement of the warm up and the cool down. So you need to explain why it's important to warm up and cool down and then show how to do that. So if you think about a car that's been sitting for a long time, you know how the oil is just going to sink down to the bottom of everything, and you need to let the car warm up. You start the car and get it to where the oil is flowing through all parts so that everything's lubricated. Your body's kind of like that. When you're sitting around, the blood's really kind of staying in the center part of your body, trying to keep those vital organs nice and warm and lubricated. The blood obviously is flowing to your fingers and your toes, but not as much. So what you want to do is do a slow warm up where you get that blood flowing, and that helps lubricate things and loosens you up, prevents you from getting injured. Then with the cool down, you just want to kind of bring yourself back down. So assuming that you've done a hard cardio workout and you're breathing really heavy, you don't want to just stop because the heart can't handle that. It's a shock for the heart. So you need to slowly bring yourself back down to where you're breathing. So what we want to talk about with the cool down is if you have done a workout, maybe a run, and you're first you want to try to control that breathing. So think about going it might still breathe pretty fast, but you're going to control it. Try to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I've had times when I can't do that. I'm still, but I want to think about controlling it. So try to think about 2 counts in, 2 counts out, and then elongate that to 4 counts in, 4 counts out until your breathing is under control. One test for cardiovascular health is how fast you bring that heart rate back down. So if it takes you a really, really long time to recover, then that means you might need to be exercising a little more regularly. If your heart rate comes back down pretty quickly, that's a pretty good sign for you. All right, so we understand that to warm up, it's to get our blood flowing out to everything, to lubricate everything, get everything loosened up so we don't cause an injury. And to cool down is important so that we bring our heart rate back down slowly to get our breathing under control so that we don't shock the body by just stopping. The other thing with the cool down, you want to stretch when you do that, and that's going to help elongate those muscles. It increases your flexibility while you're nice and warm. So you want to try to stretch after you've gotten your breathing back down, you cool down a little bit, stretch while your muscles are still warm to increase your flexibility. And to it actually makes your muscles look longer, and it can prevent soreness. So what we don't do normally when we stretch is we don't hold our stretches long enough. So when you're stretching at the end of a workout, think about holding one stretch for at least 30 seconds. 1 minute is better. How many of us have that patience? All right, so let's talk about what we can do for a warm-up. You want your warm-up to be 3 to 5 minutes, maybe even longer. If you're going to do a really hard cardio workout, you might need a longer warm-up. And if a strength warm-up, think about what body parts am I going to be focusing on. Let me make sure I'm warming those up. So what you want to avoid in a warm-up is what we call a static stretch. So you don't want to do the holds of a muscle group like you do at the end. So what we don't want to do, let me get back here. You don't want to just like hang here and hold that for a long time for a warm-up. You don't want to do your quad stretch and hold that for a long time. So what you want to do instead is you're going to start moving just a little bit and get your blood flowing. So you're not going to do anything hard. Jacks are good, but even if you're just stepping and moving your arms, that's going to help get your blood flowing. Anytime you're moving your arms, you're going to get your heart rate to increase, and that's going to make the blood flow better to get that blood pumping to your fingertips and your toes. It should feel good. So the other thing you want to focus on when you're warming up is thinking about moving different body parts. You want to move those arms, warm up those shoulders. So you're going forward, you're going to go back. You can see this, a lot of people call it opening the gate. You're going to get those hips, so you're going to warm that up. You do it here. You can add some arm movements in to try to get a little bit of cardio moving. When you're down, you can be here. So one of the things you can do for some cardio, you do mountain climbers, and then you can do a little Spider-Man crunch. Spider-Man crunch. You can also bring that foot up. Can you see this? Let me come back a little bit. Bring that foot up close to your hand, and then push forward. Take it back, then do the other side. Come in, push forward. So that you're doing some stretches, but they're not static. You're not holding them. So that's Spider-Man stretch there. You can do things like bringing a knee up, pull up, bring it up. Turn, can you see? Bring it up, pull up, bring it up, pull up. I also like to do where I lunge. While I'm holding that lunge for just a second, I do a twist to the wrong leg, twist towards the front leg. So you lunge back, hold that lunge down while you twist. So that way you're getting those legs nice and warmed up, but you're not holding a static stretch for very long. You're keeping it dynamic. Dynamic means moving, static means holding still. So in your warm-up, you want to do some exercises that get your heart rate up a little bit. Doesn't have to be crazy hard. So you don't want to start your warm-up like, all right, let's go, we're in a race. Maybe do this for your warm-up. And then later in your workout, you do the crazy race. So think about what moves you're going to do in your workout, and then maybe mimic those at a lower intensity, lower speed in your warm-up. Then try to get those body parts moving, try to get your heart rate up a little bit. So cool down, do your stretches, thinking about what body parts you worked, stretch those body parts, hold the stretch for the cool down, but not for the warm-up. Have a good time.